there's a lot to get through. We won't get to all of it, but in general, in broad terms, Mr. Picardo has said that the projected triple the projected surplus finances exactly as people might expect in a post-COVID world. It sounds good. It sounds positive. Why do you think that this is, the result of a continued mismanagement? What do you see in terms of the state of public finance?
Well, there was a massive hard sell by Fabian this morning, and when it sounds too good to be true, it's because it is too good to be true. There's been departmental overspend of £65 million. The reality is that they've reached a budget surplus because they've been saved by companies and the people of Gibraltar by higher corporate tax take and by higher income tax take. They've had corporate tax take, which they deem exceptional to the extent of £50 million. Had they not had that exceptional tax take, they would have been in a massive deficit this year. This is not magical economic gurus. They've been saved once again by taxation, by unprecedented taxation, exceptional taxation. This is not evidence of good handling of the economy, and rather what it is a continuation of a spending, reckless approach and directionless management.
For someone who's not familiar with what this, you call it a single taxation, why is this not part of a good plan that can go forward and take Gibraltar's finances in a positive direction?
Because the government itself has admitted that this was exceptional tax revenue that they didn't expect. And so this is a government that said, repeatedly we've been saying your budget figures are unrealistic and they are not going to be met. Every year we go to Parliament and we've been proved right. There's been departmental overspend for the last 4 years now. We've been saying repeatedly and pointing in very granular way, there are aspects of the budget where the forecasts are just unrealistic, or you simply have ill discipline. Time after time, we are proved right. This is a government that not only is mismanaging the state of public finances, has ratcheted public debt up over the last decade. They said that they were going to halve it in 2011. It's now been quadrupled, the state of gross and indirect debt of Gibraltar. And then they're running a parallel treasury where they are dipping into hundreds of millions of pounds of savers' money without accounting to the House, to the Parliament, to the people of Gibraltar. That's why this management is unacceptable, and that's why we're voting against it.
Well, you've referred to the debt and the increase, but the GDP rate is also increasing faster than ever before. In the context of that rise in GDP, is that not a manageable debt that might be, dealt with in the future?
But there's no realistic plan, and Roy Clinton has made this point on a repeated basis. All we're seeing is, over the last decade, a massive increase in direct and indirect debt with no real plan to actually reduce it. This is someone, the Chief Minister, who was elected in 2011 with that snazzy video where he has 2 bar charts and the public debt coming down. Instead, it's been quadrupled. This is a government without a plan. They've built an economy and their management of public finances on debt, 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 the opposite of what they said they would do. And why is this important to people? Because it affects the quality of public services. It affects the money that there is for salary rises. It affects the money in people's pocket and the amount of money that can be delivered back to people by way of reductions in taxation.
You've made a few references to the estimates book. I think it's a matter of fact that some departments have year on year projected that they would use less money than they have turned out to use. You've accused the government of half-truths and inconsistencies. Yes. I mean, how much of the budget do you take at face value and how much do you think is, as you put it, sort of a distraction?
I think that some of these figures are realistic, but where we think they are unrealistic, we pointed very, very clearly to where we think the lack of realism is. Every year, we've been proved right when we've said the departments are not going to keep to their budget. For the last 4 years, they have not. And this is the point that we make. As soon as departments don't keep to their budget, then there's less money for salary rises. There's less money for
the answer to that, then?
Discipline is the answer, and a proper management of the public finances and a debt management plan. And the point is this: look, this budget has been a complete damp squib to a lot of people. Yes, there has been salary rises for people in the public sector. But when you look at 5% for people under 50,000, and we've called for the last 2 years that if you're going to target pay rises, it should be directed to the lower paid. So that we welcome that. But the point is that it's in overall terms a damp squib, because for the last 3 years, we've had the cost of food, for example, on the retail price index over the last 3 years has been 15.9%. The increase in prices in alcohol, 17.9%. The retail price index over the last 12 months, 2.9%. Electricity and water has grown by 26% in 2021. In real terms, people are worse off than they were 3 years ago, and this budget does nothing to help businesses, and it only helps some people, and only part of the way. In real terms, they are worse off.
You said that it's a damp squib. Is it not reasonable in the context of, we've not touched on the treaty, strangely enough, but in the context of this treaty agreement and the treaty deal that's yet to come, and the fact that it is a midterm budget, do you not think that aiming to keep Gibraltar on an even keel is what the government should be doing rather than some big reform?
The government should be aiming to keep Gibraltar on an even keel every year, and that requires serious management. It requires that departments don't overspend to the tune of £65 million, because look, the salary raises are going to cost the taxpayer around £8 million. Imagine the scenario where the departments had actually met the budget that they had decided, that they had been asked to meet last year, and the year before that, and the year before that, and the year before that. We would have an extra £150 million in public finances to play with, to reduce tax, to improve public services, and to raise salaries.